opening, grand closing.
Welcome, my friends, my family, my fellow gamers. It's your only friend these YouTube streets, PlayStation77, back with another video. Thank you for checking it out. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe, hit the notification. Don't forget to hit the like button. But, check the video out, and then you make your decision towards the end. But right here, I think it's finally settling in. It only took a grip. It only took a minute. It's not like Phil Spencer wasn't blatantly telling people that, Xbox lost and that they can't out-console PlayStation. It's not like we haven't heard Satya, finally saying that, hey, we're going to put games on every platform, right? It's not like Tim Stewart said that, Nintendo and PlayStation are no longer their competitors, right? But it's finally sinking in, right? With the change of Halo, the Halo Studios changing their name and using UE5, you see more and more games come to PlayStation. They are finally hitting the curve, right? But now they're starting to see that Microsoft is making decisions with PlayStation in mind. Let's listen to what they got to say.
And for me, I think the move to Unreal, plus, as you said, Destin, what we've already seen Microsoft start to do with the 4 games they've shipped, with Indiana Jones being a 6-month exclusive, I think it is far more likely than not at this point. Well, again, whether you like it or not, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying I think this is what's going to happen.
I'm going to just say this. You can just see, like you see Destin's face. That is literally the expression of pain. This is hurting him. And I don't know why. I think it's mostly because he you know what? I don't even think he likes Xbox like in that way. And what I mean by like Xbox, I don't think he's actually a big fan of Xbox. Because the other day he didn't even know what 343 meant for Halo. And I'm like, wait a minute. Like literally, if you're an honest to God Xbox fan, you know Halo. Because that's literally Halo is the Babe Ruth of the brand. Like if you're a Yankees fan, you know who Babe Ruth is. That's just how it is, right? And he didn't know what 343 in relation to like the Halo brand was, right? I think what it was is this is what he did, right? He planned out his own, how would you say, career or success path, right? In the gaming, right? As a podcaster or as a content creator, right? And he had a decision to make. Go the PlayStation route, right? And hedge your bets on that, or hedge your bets on Microsoft. He probably liked the vision of what Microsoft doing, and he probably thought, you know what? Between PlayStation and Microsoft, he probably thought Microsoft had the better strategy that will ultimately win. He probably saw like, wait a minute. All right, Microsoft has the most powerful console in the world for RDNA 2.9, so 2.0, whatever, BS. But they also have the cheapest console. And a lot of people are cool with that. A lot of people don't care about tech. So you get a next generation console that plays these games for $299. And then he saw Game Pass. He's like, you know what? Lots of gamers are going to love Game Pass because you don't have to buy games. You get all these games for only $10-15 a month. And during that time, Microsoft was giving away with $1 upgrade. So he probably thought the combination of having the best hardware, right, on paper, right, the cheapest console out in the market, right, all backed by Game Pass, right? All of this was going to lead to an overall dominance of Microsoft. So he bet the farm on that. And that trash did not happen. Oh, man, boy. The house won. You know how they say house always wins? Oh, the house won on this one. He lost everything. Like everything. Because I would say this gen is worse than the OG Xbox gen. Like the OG Xbox gen, you had Xbox had like 25 million, 20 to 25 million console sales. Absolutely got slaughtered by PlayStation, right? PlayStation 2 ended up with 155 million to 25 million. It was an absolute slaughter, right? Of the most highest kind, right? But this generation's worse because at least the OG Xbox set the stage for 360, right? The OG Xbox walked so that way the 360 could run, right? And continue further the identity. This gen, they lost their identity. The console lost its identity completely. It just got shellacked. So now you're like, If you were trying to create content creator based on this brand, and now your brand is like a third party making, like, what the hell? It's kind of like trying to be an EA content creator or Ubisoft content creator. It's like, okay, it's like, all right, you're a third party content creator doing videos talking about third party shit, or I guess, but that wasn't the plan, right? They wanted a competitor in the industry to dominate the industry with this strategy, and it just failed. All right, let me continue.
I think the next mainline Halo is going to come out on PlayStation. There's just a lot there that's built up over 20 plus years. And so I think it makes perfect sense to start from scratch. And that's either to onboard those PlayStation gamers, to welcome them, to make them feel like, hey, I'm a PlayStation gamer. Oh, I can just jump right into this. It's the original Halo. I never got to play it. Here it is, remade beautifully in Unreal Engine 5. So I think that is one way you do it. Or again, you could do the same thing except reboot it. I want everybody to know this hurts me to say, because I do not want this to happen. I'm just saying I could see this happening. Is if you reboot, you are probably recasting the voice actor for Master Chief as well. You are probably not going to keep Steve Downes around because, and I only say that
I'm out.
When Gears of War E-Day was announced, is that's probably also going to PlayStation. And that's probably also one reason they went with a prequel, is to not try to onboard PlayStation gamers in the middle of Kate's storyline, where there was a cliffhanger at the end of the last game that they didn't get to play if they didn't have an Xbox. So,
and I think it's coming. So at this point, I've just kind of accepted the fact that this is Microsoft's business strategy. This is what they're going to do. And I totally understand the fans out there who are like, I don't like this. I think they should be making console exclusives. And, I think there's what we want and the reality of the situation. The reality is Microsoft's already made their decision. So I think it's happening. And I think that's just something we got to get used to.
Wow, only took you long enough, Destin. Like, man, I'm telling you, you guys resisted. You guys resisted the inevitable. It's crazy. And the funny part is, Phil was like literally telling you this. He wasn't hiding it. He even got stressed out on IGN, right? When Redfall flopped, he literally said on IGN, you can't out-console PlayStation, therefore you have to do something. We have to do something different. He told you he was going to do something different. And yet you expect him to do the same, which is create console exclusives. Now, that's, you said a funny part. You said an interesting part. People don't like it because they expect console exclusives. As a PlayStation fan, right? Or even, as a gaming fan throughout generations, right? Been around with Sega, Nintendo, TurboGrafx-16, Neo Geo. So I understand, the importance of console exclusives, right? For many multiple reasons. And I'm not going to rehash all those reasons because I said it 100 times already, so I get it. But what you need to understand, Destin, is, do you have a fan base big enough to justify console exclusives? That's the thing you Xbox guys don't. I don't think you guys, Xbox guys, don't understand. Like, you're a niche group. Your console's not selling. This is back-to-back L's. Like, you think Microsoft is just going to keep giving you exclusives to this non-existent fan base? There's not enough for y'all, right? And then the few Xbox guys that are there, that did buy the console, a group of you don't buy games because you've been conditioned to rely on Game Pass. You pay for Game Pass unless it's like a super big blockbuster game like Grand Theft Auto or something like that, Elden Ring, something outside the scope. More often than not, you're not going to buy a game. You're not, because you all in on Game Pass. So even then, that just compounded the issues Microsoft has. Xbox is not existing in Europe. Let's not even talk Asia. I don't even know why Microsoft even bothers to build consoles. That's just a waste of silicon. You're just wasting materials. That materials could be put to something else. You're just wasting. It's just boxes of Xbox on a shelf. It's just a waste. Okay. So you have this product that nobody's buying, but let's just keep pumping exclusives, which does nothing for the console. No. Microsoft realizes that, A, we're not good at console sales. It is what it is. This is back-to-back L's, back-to-back Gen L's, just back-to-back. They're not. This isn't baseball. They're not going to try to worry about a strike three. They're not doing that, right? But they still want to make money off the console industry. Phil, Satya, all them shareholders, they want to make money off the console industry, but they can't do it through their own box. Their own box is not enough. That's where PlayStation comes into play. Phil told you he wants to put the games where the gamers are at. The gamers chose PlayStation as the primary console platform, right? And then, of course, there's an argument, well, Nintendo has more sales, is also whatever. I say Nintendo and Sony both dominated their respective markets. Nintendo got their mobile, great gaming market, right? And PlayStation's the traditional home console. They both got that on lock. Microsoft sees both as opportunity to make money because their console can't do anything. Like, their console's not doing anything. It's just sitting there, right? They got no penetration. They got nothing in Europe. They got nothing in Asia, right? Apparently now the Middle East is getting rid of the shit. Like, it's just a disaster at the most global scale. Globally, it's just a disaster for this brand, right? And Microsoft's not going to miss out on the most dominant popular consoles in the console market. So they want to make money in consoles. You got to go through PlayStation, Nintendo, right? At least, right? And depending on what Nintendo does, right, with the Switch 2, Microsoft will port games based on the specs. Whatever game they can port, they will port. If there's a game that they can't port because the specs are too weak, then they can't. It is what it is, right? PlayStation, they know they're going to put all their games on there, right? Most dominant console in the market, especially compared to Xbox. Xbox is nothing, right? PCs. You got Steam, right? That's why Microsoft put their games on Steam instead of keeping it exclusive to the Xbox store. I mean, you guys don't see that. Like, why didn't Microsoft keep their games exclusive to the Xbox store that is on PC? You want to know why? Because the majority of gamers on PC play on Steam. So they put the games where PC gamers play at. Microsoft said, fine, you don't want to play on our store? Even though our store is connected to Game Pass, you still don't want it? You rather buy the game at full price? Fine. Go ahead. Buy it at full price on Steam. That's where you guys are at. That's where Microsoft is headed, right? And it's funny, we've been telling y'all this last year and the year before, and y'all made us look like we're fanboys or whatever. But now in October 2024, you guys finally caught up to what many of us, King Thrash, myself, and many others have been saying for years, simply because, I don't know, every damn 3 months, we keep seeing reports of consoles selling like shit for Xbox. You didn't think there was a consequence? Quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter after quarter. Negative 58, negative 30, negative 40, negative 20. Every goddamn quarter? And y'all didn't think there was going to be a consequence to this. Y'all thought Microsoft was going to ignore that. Oh, consoles ain't important. You got what? Shut your ass up. How the hell else are you going to get your subscribers? How else is Microsoft going to get their 30% and all that stuff? They're cut from third party. Y'all see, many of you fools think that console sales, right, profit is the literal sale of the console. No, you dork. It's what happens when the console's in the home of the gamer. At that point, that's when the real money begins. Because now that gamer's going to buy games. Whether it's first party or third party, Microsoft gets a cut. They're going to subscribe to some type of service, whether it's Game Pass or Xbox Live Gold, which they don't have anymore. Something, right? Microsoft gets a cut. You play Fortnite free to play, but you do any of those money transactions, Microsoft gets a cut, right? All those DLCs, whatever on those games, Microsoft gets a cut. Anything you do on that console, buying games, buying DLC, playing the free to play, and buying those packs and all that stuff, Microsoft gets money on all that. That's where the money is, right? Is what happens after the console. And guess what? Microsoft was unable to get enough consoles into the house. They just can't get into the home. Why? Because the homes prefer PlayStation. That's why. So, since most homes prefer PlayStation in terms of the console market, Microsoft's going to put their games and content where their homes are at, with the device that, that people chose. And that's all we've been saying. Now, with what they're talking about, it seems like Microsoft is also including PlayStation day one into their strategy. So this whole reboot with Halo is not just for you Xbox guys, because number one, there's not enough. It's for the entirety of gamers that will have access to these games, which includes PlayStation. And I agree with this Gears point of Emergence Day, going back to the beginning as a prequel, right? To get the PlayStation. Now I know there's a lot of PlayStation games that played, Gears Go. I played Gears, right? There's plenty, right? But there's plenty that didn't. So to ensure everybody's synced on the same page, they're doing these strategies which means Microsoft is strategizing with PlayStation in mind. And considering PlayStation is the larger fan base, right? They're prioritizing them. They want to make sure PlayStation gamers get fully read in on their games, especially Halo and Gears going forward. They're not going to make decisions that exclude PlayStation. It's just not. The future of the brand for these IPs, right, in the console market, primary PlayStation is going to make them successful because there's just not enough Xbox to hold that weight. Xbox Nation's crew is too light. You ain't got enough foot soldiers, right? You're too busy watching Twitch. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. This is your only friend, is YouTube Streets PlayStation77. Hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you enjoyed this content and want to see more future content, hit the subscribe, subscribe, like, and check out my podcast every Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. 60 frames, no lag. Your only friend is YouTube Streets. I'm out of here. You guys take care. Have a great weekend. Peace.
Grand opening